In the shadows where truth and tales intertwine, we find the thrilling, the chilling, the downright spine-tingling. From the paranormal to the peculiar, every echo has a story. Dare to delve into the unexpected, the unexplained? Brace yourself, for you're about to embark on a journey where fear meets fascination. Stay tuned if you dare, for stories that will make your heart race and your mind ponder. Welcome to the realm of the eerie, the realm of the unknown. And remember, like and subscribe, if you dare. It was a moonless night, and we were deep in the heart of the darkest woods you can imagine. The air was thick with the scent of pine needles and damp earth. The only light came from our hurriedly lit lanterns, casting long, dancing shadows that made the gnarled trees appear like lurking specters. We were a band of hardened soldiers, sent on a recon mission into the depths of these haunting woods. My name, well, it's Turner. Retired Army Captain Turner, to be precise. I was leading the squad that night. The woods were so dense, so impenetrably dark, it was as if we were wading through a sea of black ink. The only sound was the crunch of our boots on the forest floor, the occasional hoot of an owl, and the rustling of leaves above us. There's something about the woods at night that can make even the bravest soul feel a sliver of unease. And these were no ordinary woods. The air was heavy with a sense of foreboding, the kind that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Each step we took seemed to lead us deeper into the unknown, further from the safety of civilization. As we ventured further, the woods seemed to close in around us. The air grew colder and an eerie silence enveloped us. The usual nocturnal sounds were oddly absent. No crickets, no rustling leaves, just deafening silence. The kind of silence that amplifies every heartbeat, every breath, every thought. We had our compasses, our maps, our training. But something was different that night. It felt as if the woods themselves were watching us, waiting. We had a mission, and we were determined to see it through. But as we pressed on, navigating the challenging terrain and the suffocating darkness, a creeping sense of unease began to grip us. We thought we were on the right path, guided by our training and our resolve, but as the night wore on, as the darkness deepened, something felt off. The woods held a secret, and we were about to uncover it. Little did we know, our real mission was just beginning. That's when we stumbled upon an old, dilapidated cabin. It was the kind of place that made your skin crawl, like something out of a campfire ghost story. The windows were smashed to bits, the door hung off its hinges, and the wood was rotting away. But as unnerving as it was, we needed shelter, and it was the only option in sight. As we stepped inside, a wave of stale, musty air hit us. The floorboards groaned under our weight, echoing through the eerie silence. The cabin was empty and abandoned, but it felt like we were disturbing something, or someone. We hunkered down for the night, setting up our gear and taking turns standing guard. But as the hours ticked by, the cabin seemed to come alive. Shadows flickered on the walls, even though our flashlights were steady. We heard soft whispers, too faint to make out words, but clear enough to know they weren't just the wind. I tried to keep the squad calm, telling them it was just our minds playing tricks. After all, the human brain is excellent at finding patterns where there aren't any. It's a survival instinct, meant to keep us safe from predators. But even as I spoke those reassuring words, a cold dread was creeping up my spine. Then, just as we were settling in, we heard a creak from the far corner of the cabin. We all turned, flashlights sweeping the room, but there was nothing there. Just an old, worn-out chair, rocking back and forth on its own. The room went silent. We could hear each other's breath, ragged and shallow. The temperature seemed to drop a few degrees, and I could see my own breath, fogging up in the air. I knew then that we weren't alone. There was something in the cabin with us, something that didn't want us there. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and a chill ran down my spine. I tried to dismiss it, to convince myself it was just the wind or an animal outside, but deep down I knew something wasn't right. Then out of nowhere, the door slammed shut with a deafening bang. We were trapped. The echo of the door's slam reverberated through the cabin like a death knell. A thick, heavy silence fell upon us, and the only sound was our ragged breathing and the pounding of our hearts. We were soldiers, trained for combat, but nothing could have prepared us for this. We rushed to the door, pushing and pulling with all our might, but it was as if it had been sealed by some unseen force. The air grew thick with fear, and the cabin seemed to close in around us. A feeling of dread clawed at our guts. We were trapped like rats in a cage, and the predator was closing in. That's when we heard it. A low guttural growl that seemed to come from the very depths of the earth. It echoed through the cabin, sending a chill down our spines. It was a sound no human or animal could make. It was something otherworldly. Then the shadows started to move. From the corners of the room, glowing eyes appeared, staring at us with a predatory hunger. They were everywhere, surrounding us. The flickering candlelight reflected off them, casting eerie patterns on the walls. It was a sight that could freeze the blood in your veins. The panic was palpable. You could taste it in the air, feel it in the tremors of your fellow soldiers. We were surrounded, outnumbered, but we were soldiers, and we wouldn't go down without a fight. We formed a defensive circle, each of us back to back, weapons at the ready. The growling intensified, and the eyes seemed to multiply. It felt like the walls were closing in. We were in the belly of the beast, and it was about to swallow us whole. We were surrounded by unseen forces, and the tension was palpable. The air was charged with an energy that was both terrifying and electrifying. It was a standoff, a waiting game. And we knew deep down that the real horror was yet to come. Suddenly, the temperature dropped even more, and our breaths turned to mist. Ice seemed to form in the air, and the darkness around us intensified. It was as if the world had gone into a deep freeze, and we were in the heart of it. A chill swept over us, penetrating our bones and making our teeth chatter. And then, in the heart of that chilling darkness, a figure emerged. It was a soldier, but not like any we'd seen before. He was spectral, a ghostly apparition, his uniform tattered and time-worn. He wore the insignia of a rank long obsolete, his gear hearkening back to a bygone era. His form seemed to shimmer, an ethereal glow emanating from him. His eyes were the most haunting. They glowed with a cold, otherworldly light. Every instinct in me screamed danger. My heart pounded in my chest like a war drum, and I could hear the blood rushing in my ears. My squad was frozen, their faces a mask of terror. The spectral soldier stood there, an ominous presence in the cabin's cold, dark confines. Suddenly he pointed a finger at me. His voice echoed through the cabin, a hollow, resonating sound that was more felt than heard. "Sergeant Turner," he intoned, "you've trespassed on sacred ground. Leave now or face the consequences." Every hair on my body stood on end. His words echoed in my mind, a haunting refrain. The air around us seemed to throb with a palpable menace. I could see the fear in my squad's eyes, their faces pale and drawn. Without a second thought, I barked orders to retreat. We scrambled to our feet, desperation fueling our actions. The door, previously immovable, swung open as if pushed by an unseen force. We hightailed it out of that cabin like bats out of hell, the ghostly soldier's warning echoing in our ears. As we stumbled through the woods, not daring to look back, the cabin and its ghostly occupant faded into the darkness. It was a night I'll never forget, a testament to the unexplainable, the supernatural. To this day, I can't explain what we witnessed that night, but I know one thing for sure. There are things in those woods that the military training manuals don't prepare you for. And that, my friends, is the tale of Sergeant Turner's spooky encounter in the haunted woods. We stumbled through the woods, not looking back until we were miles away. The darkness around us felt oppressive, as if we were running through a nightmare. The haunting image of the ghostly soldier and the chilling echo of his warning reverberated in our minds. With every step, we moved further away from the haunted cabin, but it felt as though we could never outrun the terror we had experienced. Our hearts pounded in our chests, each beat a reminder of the eerie encounter. The woods, once a source of mystery and adventure, had become a haunting symbol of the unknown. We moved as one, our bodies fueled by adrenaline, yet our minds were scattered, grappling with the horror of the night. The distant howls of unseen creatures were now more foreboding than ever, a grim reminder of the inexplicable entities that lurked within the shadows. As dawn broke, we emerged from the woods, the first rays of sunlight piercing through the dense canopy. With the light came a sense of relief, as though we had escaped the clutches of a bone-chilling nightmare. Yet, the eerie silence of the morning was a stark reminder that our ordeal was far from a dream. In the aftermath of that night, we were changed men. The bravado we once carried was replaced by a profound respect for the unknown. We learned that there were forces beyond our understanding, entities that our military training could not prepare us for. The memory of that night still lingers, a ghostly echo in the back of our minds. The haunted cabin, the spectral soldier, the chilling warning. They have become an integral part of our shared history, a tale we recount with a mix of dread and fascination. And that, my friends, is the tale of Sergeant Turner's spooky encounter in the haunted woods. And so, our tale of the Campfire Horrors comes to an end. Until next time, sleep tight. Before we part ways, dear viewers, remember to stay vigilant. The Campfire Horrors may have been extinguished for now, but the embers of the unknown always remain. As you lay down to sleep tonight, don't forget the lessons from our tale. Safety is but a fleeting moment in a world of unseen. So, if you've enjoyed this journey into the abyss, don't forget to ring that bell and smash that like button. Do it before the thing under your bed decides to pay you a visit. Oh, and keep those night lights on. You never know what might be lurking in the dark. Thank you for embarking on this terrifying adventure with us. Until our paths cross again in another tale of the unknown. Goodbye and sweet dreams, if you can.